No matter how old you are, 50, 60, or 70, there is one thing that will always remain relevant. Either money works for you or you work for money. Now imagine this statistic. 7 out of 10 Americans of retirement age today rely on Social Security as their primary source of income. This is a reality that could have been different if people had once known what I'm about to tell you. Financial freedom is not a privilege for the young or the chosen. It is a skill, it is a strategy, it is discipline, and most importantly, it is a decision. In this video, I will share with you 7 proven strategies that not only brought me peace in turbulent times, but also gave me real power over my life. Strategies that work regardless of how old you are or where you're starting from. And you know what? The best part comes at the end. Together, we'll develop a personal, practical financial plan for you, for the week. Yes, with specific actions you can start taking today. But right now, I want you to think about a simple question. Do you control your money, or does it control you? When I was young, I thought the most important thing in life was to find a good job, a stable one with health insurance and a pension plan. And you know, many of us live that way, 40 years at work, 40 hours a week, only to end up with 40% of what was never enough to begin with, all of it in the hope of a peaceful retirement. But here's the truth that was revealed to me when I was 25. It doesn't matter how much you earn. What matters is what you do with it. I remember my first meeting with Earl Schoaf, my mentor. He looked at my financial situation and asked, "Jim, have you ever saved even 10 cents from every dollar?" I answered, "No, Earl, I haven't." And he just smiled and said, "That's where we'll start." That was the first principle. Learn to manage even a little if you want to have more. I was 25 and I was broke, completely in debt with no prospects, no plan. But from the moment I started learning financial literacy, not from newspapers but from philosophy, everything began to change. Not immediately, but over time, because wealth doesn't appear by accident. Wealth is the result of the right habits and the right mindset. See the paradox? People believe financial well-being is about income. If only I earned more, they say. But no, true financial well-being is a matter of decisions, a matter of discipline, a matter of long-term thinking. You can have $1 million and lose it within a year, or you can have a modest income and build a legacy. I've met people who earned very little but had freedom. Why? They lived below their means. They invested in knowledge. They didn't chase instant gratification. They built, brick by brick. And you can do the same. It doesn't matter how old you are. What matters is the decision you make today. One man once told me, "Jim, I'm already 60. It's too late to start." And I answered, "When is the best time to plant a tree?" 20 years ago. And the next best time? Today. Because today is a new start. It's a chance. It's a moment of truth. And if you take responsibility for your money today, you can change not only your financial future, but your inner state. From fear to confidence, from lack to abundance, from uncertainty to wisdom. The 7 strategies we'll explore next, they're not just tips from books. They're what I've lived, what I've seen in the lives of thousands of people. And each one starts with a simple yet profound question. Are you the master of your finances or a guest in your own bank account? Remember, money is a servant but a very dangerous master. Learn to manage it, and it will serve you for life. Otherwise, you'll serve it, day by day, paycheck by paycheck. And that's not the life for you. Right now, this is the moment to take out a notebook, because we're not just going to talk about financial freedom. We're going to create an action strategy for you at the end of this video. Not theory, a plan. And I want you to be ready. Let's start with the first strategy my mentor once explained to me. Learn to live on 70% of your income, not 100%, and definitely not 110%, like most people do. This habit became my starting point. It's simple, yet powerful. At the time, I was earning very little, and I thought, I'm barely getting by as it is. How can I possibly save anything? But Earl said, if you can't live on 90% of your income, you won't be able to live on 1,000% either. That was a shock, and it was true. Financial management is a matter of self-discipline, not math. And when you start keeping 70% for yourself and dividing the rest between education, investments, and charity, not only does order come into your life, self-respect does too. You no longer spend every dollar as if it's your last. You begin to think like a builder, not a consumer. You lay a foundation. So 70% for living, 10% for investing in yourself, books, courses, knowledge, 10% for capital that works for you, and another 10% for charity. Because once you learn to give, you open a channel to receive. This is not just a financial strategy, it's a life philosophy. The second strategy, save and grow. Don't just stash money under a mattress, grow it. Money needs to work. If it's not working, it's not money, and it's just paper. And I've always said it doesn't matter how much you save. What matters is how disciplined you are about it. Because discipline is the bridge between goals and results. I remember once I was late on a bill payment. It wasn't a big bill, but it hit me so hard that I told myself, enough. From now on, I manage money, not the other way around. And I started saving, not when something was left over, but as soon as I received income, automatically, systematically. Because you know what's best about automatic saving? It's non-negotiable. You just do it, like brushing your teeth, no discussion. The third strategy, study money like your life depends on it, because it does. In school, they didn't teach us what compound interest is. They didn't teach us that a credit card is not money. They didn't teach us that the greatest enemy of financial freedom is not lack of money, it's lack of knowledge. But you can learn at any age. Today, it doesn't matter if you're 50, 60, or 80. What matters is whether you're willing to learn. I started reading everything I could find about money, about investing, about taxes, about insurance, about how wealthy people think. Not to become a financial expert, but to stop being a financial victim. And I recommend the same to you. One new lesson per week, one financial term, one principle. These are simple things, but they change everything. As my mentor used to say, one of the worst conditions is not poverty, it's financial helplessness. That's where the power lies. You can take responsibility for your financial state right now. You can learn. You can change. And when you change, everything around you changes. Your decisions become sharper, your spending wiser, your opportunities greater. Why? Because you no longer react, you lead. Number 4, give every dollar a job before it leaves you. Here's a hard truth. If you don't tell your money where to go, it disappears. I called this principle financial planning. And no, it doesn't require spreadsheets or accountants. It starts with a notebook and a pen. At the beginning of each month, Jim would write, what's coming in, what's going out, what's being invested, and most importantly, why. Because financial freedom doesn't begin with a raise. It begins with a plan. And if your income is inconsistent, that's all the more reason to plan. Estimate the minimum. Build a survival baseline, then grow from there. A bad plan is better than no plan. Impulse spending is a symptom of one thing, emotional decision-making. But planning gives you power. Power to say, no, that's not in the plan. Yes, I'm investing in something bigger. This dollar has a mission, and that changes everything. Number 5, create assets, not just savings. Don't work for money, make money work for you. This rule separates the wealthy from the tired. Savings are good, but savings are limited. If they're not growing, they're just shrinking, thanks to inflation. So what's the next step? Turn your money and your skills into assets. And before you say, "I'm not an investor," listen carefully. An asset isn't always stocks or real estate. Your skills, that's an asset. A small business? Asset. Teaching what you know? Asset. Writing, creating, mentoring? All assets. I started with books, which gave me ideas, which became speeches, which became income, which became investments, which created freedom. That's the asset cycle. Ask yourself, what do I know that others would pay to learn? What can I create once that continues to bring value? What simple habit can become a long-term income stream? Even if you're 50, 60, or 70, you have one thing younger people don't: experience. And when structured right, that experience becomes wealth. Number 6, track every dollar, because what you track, you control. This is the most boring rule, but it's also one of the most powerful. Track your money, every single dollar. My mentor once asked me, "Jim, how much did you spend on food last month?" I answered, "I don't think it was much." My mentor replied, "If you say 'I think,' it means you don't know. And if you don't know, you're not in control." So I started writing everything down, in a notebook, then on cards, then in a budget system, not to restrict myself, but to free myself. Because when you know exactly where your money is going, you gain clarity, control, confidence. You start to see what matters. You stop bleeding cash on things that don't. You realize your problem isn't income, it's awareness. Start simple. Track income, track spending, review weekly, adjust monthly. Money doesn't lie. It tells you exactly what you value. So listen to it. Number 7, think in terms of legacy, not just lifestyle. This is the deepest rule of them all. Think legacy. Success is not what you get, it's who you become. Most people plan for a lifestyle, but the wealthy, they plan for a legacy. Ask yourself, what mindset about money will your kids inherit from you? What example are you setting with your habits? What culture of giving, saving, and building are you teaching just by how you live? Even if you don't leave behind millions, you can leave a system, a philosophy, a blueprint. That's more valuable than money. I told the story of a humble farmer. He didn't leave a large estate, but he left decades of journals, records, and values. And that legacy transformed his children's lives. Think about that. You don't need more money to leave something meaningful. You just need more intention. We've covered the 7 rules that made me wealthy. But information without action is just entertainment. Let's turn this into something practical. Right now, grab a notebook or open your phone. Answer these 10 self-assessment questions. Rate yourself from 1 to 10. This is your personal financial mirror. Be honest. How consistently do you live below your means? How automatically are you saving part of your income? How often do you invest in learning about money? How clearly do you understand your monthly cash flow? How detailed is your monthly budget or plan? Do you have at least one income-producing asset? Do you have an emergency fund of at least 3 months? Are you completely free from bad debt? How often do you discuss money calmly with your family? Are you intentionally creating a financial legacy? Now look at your lowest score. That's not a weakness, and that's your opportunity. That's your starting point. Pick one. Then do the following. Write down 3 simple daily or weekly actions. Make them small but specific. Do them for 7 days straight. Examples: Save $5 daily. Track all expenses. Watch one financial video. Read 10 pages. Have one open conversation about money. After 7 days, come back to the same list. Rate yourself again. Watch how you grow. Watch how you feel more in control. Watch how clarity becomes momentum, and momentum becomes power. If this message sparked something inside you, comment, "I'm taking control." Subscribe to join our mission of reaching 50 million people with financial wisdom. Share your favorite rule in the comments. You never know who it might inspire. And remember this, you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. So choose your direction today. One decision, one action, one life, rebuilt from the inside out. You've got this, and I'll see you in the next video.